Okay, fans, welcome Dr. Rob Kilt's Carnivore Conversations. I'm really excited to have Britton Kelley here with us today, and he's going to share so much about his lifestyle. He is the founder of BKCrew, which is a fitness and nutritional life stylist, the 5-day Fat Adaptation Plan, a modified carnivore Omad lifestyle created in 23. Let's see, strength and conditioning specialist for over 3 decades, professional athletes and so many different people in Hollywood and throughout the globe, and NBA stars have used his methods and his expertise. So no further ado, Britton Kelley, how you doing, my friend? And thank you for joining us.
I'm great, Doc. I'm honored to be here. I really appreciate you having me on, man. I'm super excited.
Well, we're here to learn about the things that you brought to health and wellness, and maybe you could start off by telling our listeners a little bit about yourself and why you're here in this health and wellness space.
Okay, well, I'll start with where I started. I got into the personal training industry around 1995. I believe that's sort of when it started picking up. As a senior in high school, I remember being at my gym, and I didn't know what this industry was. I knew I liked working out. I was a big beefcake captain of the football team, and I just saw some guy running around the gym with clients all day. I went up to him after a couple of days. I said, "What is it that you do?" He said, "I'm a personal trainer," and he told me what he makes per hour, and I was certified in about a week. So that started that journey right from jump. As a teenager, I was like, I like this. I'm a motivator, and I delved right into it for decades. And I slowly worked my way up the ranks. I wouldn't say that it's any sort of power or source. I would say that my personality and my ability to motivate excelled me through the ranks of personal training, and I got very good at it. And within about 10 years, I got to, I guess, what you could call the top of the mountain in the personal training industry. So I had pretty much the top job as a personal trainer in New York City. I got into at the time, the most expensive building in Manhattan. And I was running the show, the biggest gig, huge money. And it's really funny the way that it worked, because here I was, top of the mountain. And then I started working with people, started working with some celebrities. I started working with some rappers. They all lived in this one building. And what happened in a really short amount of time, these people that I'd see on the movies or people that I'd look up to, I started working with them, and I'm like, wait a second, I'm not a servant. And so it was this very fast progression to the top. And then I got there and said, wait a second, there's got to be more than this. It's never been just about the money for me. And a lot of people don't understand that. So I got to the top of the mountain and I said, you know what? This isn't for me. There's not enough purpose here. And I quit and I bailed out, and it was a rough time. I fell flat on my face. This is 20 years of personal training. What do I do next?
Wow.
So by default, I went back to a gym back in Long Island, New York, and I was put in charge of a Parisi Speed School strength and conditioning school in Islip, New York, where I stumbled upon a upcoming rising basketball star. I had never even watched a game of basketball. By default, we established a relationship and opened up this huge market. So for about 7 to 8 years, I did nothing but train collegiate, high school, and professional basketball players. And I had found it after being a servant to the up and ups in Hollywood. All of a sudden now I have power. I'm impacting kids. It was fun. It was this brand new passion. I was all juiced up and I was on fire. It was like I had found my purpose, and doing what I was doing with children and people who appreciated what I was doing really just set me on fire. So it was something that I really needed in the moment. And come to find out, I went all in. I'm extremely passionate with everything that I do. And I got to a point where, again, I started realizing what was happening. I'm helping. I said, okay, so I'm at the sideline. I'm at the NBA games. There's got to be more. There's got to be more. I know that I have to offer more to the world, not just catering to people with money. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I just knew in my heart that there's got to be a greater purpose. So that being said, I found myself sort of lost. I didn't know what I was doing. And to be honest, within the last 5 to 7 years of the training, I just wanted to get away from it. I said, I have more than just being in the gym, counting sets and reps all day, watching people go pro, watching people get the accolades, and I'm still in the gym trading dollars per hour. So what would be looked at, and I don't regret anything, is an extremely successful path in personal training. I got to the top of two mountains that said, I don't think there's enough here for me. So it started this very interesting long journey. And then right before, I don't want to drag this out too much here. I'm just trying to give you the length here.
Keep going. We love it, please.
So right around, I don't like talking about politics, right around the time there are certain social movements right before the previous president was elected. I'm in the middle of New York City. As some people know, there was a lot of things going on. It got very ugly. And I decided, you know what, I had one foot out the door. The American dream never made sense to me. And that's okay. It's just my decision. I never understood from a young age. So why is everybody getting married and having kids so bad? Why are we buying $5 million houses again? I just never understood it. And thank God I never conformed. And thank God I always questioned that, because I knew in my heart that there was more to it. So I was lost, Doc. I was lost. I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew that I had to change. The COVID was there. Nobody was doing anything. I said, I have to get out of here. And I ran off to Costa Rica. I ran off to Costa Rica with my dog and a couple $1,000s. And I said, you know what? I'm going to figure this out. And that's exactly what I did.
Wow.
So they're extremely happy, 2 to 3 years, just free, riding a quad around the mountains. And I was there and I was free and it was awesome. You ready for the good stuff?
Please bring it on.
So here I am in my happiness, riding my quad through the mountains, completely happy and free. And I got sick. I've gotten sick before. I've had a couple near-death experiences, a lot of accidents as a kid. My poor parents, they've seen me in the hospital many times. Skateboarding, car accidents, all types of stuff. Very, very aggressive life. So I was appreciative 20 years ago to be alive. So I've never had that lack of appreciation. No course events happened where I always appreciated the present moment and being alive. Always had appreciation for that, because I'm not supposed to be here a couple times. And once you've been in that situation, you learn to appreciate living. You learn to appreciate being stressed out. Lucky me, I have options. So I have what I think is a very good perception on life. But in 2020, not too long ago, little bit over 2 years ago, I started feeling ill, very ill. And little backstory, I actually got pancreatitis twice in my life. A very serious thing. At 22 years, I got pancreatitis. I went to the hospital, like, do you drink all the time? I said, no, not at all. So for some odd reason, I got this pancreatitis. And, they said, you know what, you're never going to eat fast again. You're never going to eat again. And that lasted about a week. At 22 years old, I said, well, I'm eating fine. And I was completely fine and passed through it. Got it again at another point in my life. Very interesting. But the reason I bring that up is this. I had no problems after that. The reason I bring this up is this. I was so ill in Costa Rica. I was going to doctors down there, hoping that I had pancreatitis, because I knew then I could just fast it out, because that's pretty much the course for pancreatitis. You fast it out, you stop eating. This has nothing to do with my current situation, but this is really the treatment, at least in my experience twice, with pancreatitis. Basically hospitalized, he gave me fluids and just fasted it out, and it got rid of it, and I was completely fine. So I was so ill, hoping that I had pancreatitis. Okay, so this progression, 2-3 days, and then I was like, I'm dying. I knew it. I said, I'm dying. I hate when people say this. I have an extremely high pain threshold. Unfortunately, it is extremely high. So I got to about my 3rd, 4th day. I started having back pains. I said, oh my God. And I was violently ill. Keep in mind, it's not considered a third world country, but it's not much above that. So I had the pleasant experience of going with cash in my pocket with no health insurance into San Jose, into a third world, 2 hospitals, trying to figure out what was wrong. Thankfully, after 2 days, one woman spoke a little bit of English. I mean, this was straight out of a horror movie. I was in the MRI tube, literally giving them cash as we went, just to think what was going on. Huge language barrier. The girl comes in, she goes, Britton, we don't know what's wrong with you, but you need to go home and get some medical treatment. She goes, basically, you're dying. And that was interesting. And I was so ill. I was dying. I sat on my porch. I gave my dog her last meal, and that was it. I was checking out. I'm dying. I cried. Somehow I woke up. A friend woke me up, and we got an emergency flight to New York City. Okay. No idea what's going on. They rushed me to the hospital in New York. I was in 5 hospitals during the process. I was so ill that they wouldn't work on me. They had the priest come up, and forget the terminology. I really tried for years to block this out. Yes, 3 times my parents had to come up and say goodbye to me. Now, here's what happened. I basically went in and out of a coma. They had me so drugged up. I was in and out of a coma for about the first 5 to 6 weeks. As it came out, they said, you contracted MRSA, which is very interesting because of all the years I've been training, I had never heard of this MRSA. Now, it turns out it's not a big deal unless it gets inside you and starts attacking your organs. And that's what was happening to me. So what they did to save my life, again, they're not paying attention to me orthopedically, they're trying to save me. They just kept on lasering me open, ripping me apart, and just lasering out all the infections. So my neck, my spine, my butt, my lungs, I had about 17 surgeries in the first 2 months. They wrote me off dead like 3 times. They were going to cut my legs off. I couldn't walk. I couldn't go to the bathroom for about 5 months. And this was during COVID. Also, on top of this is right before they put the mandate on all the nurses where if you don't get the shot, you don't have a job. So on top of me dying, every nurse is miserable. All anybody's talking about is COVID. I'm like, hey, guys, I'm dying. And this is months. And I'm asking the doctor, again, surgeon after surgeon, I said, guys, what's going on? They're like, you're lucky to be alive. And this was this ringing tone. I said, I know that. I'm always lucky to be alive. And for months, millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of treatment. And all these specialists, months. And all you're telling me is I'm lucky to be alive? And I'm not a pro, against, anti-doctor, nothing like that. Listen, doctors have saved my life in many situations, so I'm not anti-healthcare. I don't have that opinion. All I know is I was dying. It's been several months. I've got multiple MRIs. You guys have cut me open 17 times. Can you just give me a little clue other than you're lucky to be alive? And that's really all I got, Doc. So I'm not going to try and speed this up because it's pretty important. So here I am. I knew I was going to be okay. To be honest with you, the worst part was not being able to go to the bathroom. And having, a nurse having to come in and wipe my butt for me for 6 months. That was the hardest part for me. Really, really traumatizing, to be honest with you, even though I couldn't use my legs or anything else or breathe. I had a feeding tube. I mean, I was done, man. I had the whole works done. About 17, 18 surgeries. There's metal all up and down my back. But that being said, okay, so what's next? And they said, well, the thing is, what happened is I was in for the first 5 months. And when they released me out, I didn't have a home. I've been in Costa Rica. I don't know what's going on. I stayed with my little brother. And I sat there in horrific pain, crying every day that I woke up, just crying. And it's about a month later, I went to the surgeon. I said, listen, I don't know what I have to do, but I don't want to live anymore. This is not, stop telling me I'm lucky to be alive. I don't feel so lucky.
Wow.
I only found one surgeon that is like, listen, Britton, here's the deal. We can correct, because when they were cutting me open, they weren't paying attention to what my spine was doing, all the other stuff, and I was in so much pain. And it takes a lot for me to even admit that. And I said, Doc, I don't want to live like this. I can't do this. This is awful. And it made me really realize, pain management, people that are going through pain, there is nothing worse. Maybe some emotional, spiritual pain, but being in physical pain to where nothing gets rid of it is the worst thing that I've ever been through. And I can see how people take their own lives easily. People think it's weakness. Listen, it's extremely difficult. So fast forward, I did find a surgeon. He's like, listen, we can go put the metal in your neck and your body. I'm extremely limited in my neck movement. But the fact that I wasn't able to walk, let alone do a push-up, and now I'm doing like bodybuilding routines, box jumps. I mean, it's actually pretty incredible. I never stopped to pat myself on the back. But here's the thing. The surgeon said, listen, we can put this metal in you, but just so you know, you're solidifying MRSA in you for life, because MRSA is going to get into those cold spots and it can hide behind the metal. So we can get you out of pain, but you're going to have MRSA for the rest of your life. I said, oh shit, these are some options. I said, I got to get out of pain, anything to get out of pain. And anybody who's been anything close to where I've been, you will do anything to get out, nothing short of anything to get out of pain, because you just don't want to live away. I was waking up crying. So I went ahead with it. And now the treatment after this, nobody knows. I'm some special case, of course, some gray area where there's no answers. Millions of dollars of treatment. So then here's the plan. Basically, live near the hospital so when you get sick again, you're close. I said, well, hell, that's not going to work. But what am I going to do? I don't know what's going on. So what happened, I had this treatment of Vancomycin, extremely strong stuff, okay? About the strongest as far as I know. I don't claim to know more than I do. I'm a practitioner. I'm a motivator. I stay in my lane. And it's good to stay humble like that, because then I can just learn and be a sponge, and I don't have to worry about the opinions of others. So an hour and a half, twice a day, there's a cord inside me to my heart where I'm pumping this ball of Vancomycin right here in straight towards my heart for an hour and a half, twice a day. This is my life, and you're going to do this the rest of your life. Okay. About 3 weeks into it, I said, Doc, what's going on? What's next? You're so lucky to be alive. I said, you know what?
Again.
Out of here. And it was just this personal thing. I was like, you know, if I'm so lucky to be alive, I'm getting the hell out of here. There was something inside me that had to get back to Costa Rica. I had to prove to myself that I'm going to overcome this. This is where this gets interesting, and I'm sorry that this is long-winded, but this is kind of the path to where my healing had not yet begun. It actually took a while. I had to break even more. I thought I was broken, and now we're getting to emotional and spiritual stuff where it has nothing to do with the physical pain. I'm all right. I got down to Costa Rica. I have no guidance, no therapy. I'm doing ball therapy in the pool. I don't do this crap. I'm a trainer. This is what I do for a job. So that lasted about 3 weeks. I said, I'm not doing this at the little JCC community center. I went back to Costa Rica. I would pull over on the side of the road just throwing up. This medicine was making me so sick. They switched me over to pills. They said, you can't leave the country. I said, I'm out of here. So they gave me some, I forget which pill it was, but extremely strong. So I was just violently ill. And so here I was. This is where it gets extremely interesting. When I was unconscious, a friend had set up a GoFundMe page. And there's a lot. This is very layered. So what had happened is I had paid off some bills. Health insurance paid some. But here's the deal. I went back to Costa Rica. It's about $50,000 on me. But here's the thing. I was broken. I'm back in my happy place, but I'm not the man I know. I've always been this Spartan kind of athletic animal, this motivator, and I can't even turn my head. So here I am, beautiful Costa Rica, no responsibilities. I got through this, lucky to be alive, and I was miserable. I had no purpose. I couldn't diet. I didn't work. I didn't know why. What is going on? Life is good. I was miserable. I had zero purpose. It's never been about money. It was never about me. People have a very tough time understanding that. My purpose is greater. It's okay if you don't understand it, but I know it. I don't care about money. And even today, people have a tough time understanding that. And thankfully, I've never steered clear of that, because if I just chased the money, I'd still be in Hollywood as a servant, and my mission's way bigger than that. So
a different type of servant.
Where it gets really interesting, Doc. I'm in very good shape right now. Not the best shape of my life. However, people don't know my backstory. I had a client last night. He's been with me 3 weeks. I sent him this clip from the hospital. He goes, dude, people have no idea. Like, oh, you're in good shape. I'm like, yeah, but you don't know. I couldn't walk. I couldn't wipe my own ass. So I don't stop to smell the roses. I hope that one day I do put my backstory out there and I can maybe shed a tear and go, hey, man, you really did it. Maybe someday I will, but I don't really think it's my personality. I knew when I was in the hospital I couldn't walk. I'm like, I'll be fine. I self-willed myself. I'm not saying that's good, bad spirituality, but I know that I got myself. There was never a question. My born unit, good.
We're good.
So,
turn that one off. Sorry about that.
No, not a problem. So here it was. This crazy part about this is January of this year. This is how current this was. So here I am in Costa Rica. My truck broke down the last time. I said, this isn't working. I'm going to go back home. I have no idea what to do. I don't want to do anything with personal training ever again. I'm done with it. And plus I'm broken. I can't even walk right. So here, again, this is January of this year. This is only 10 months ago. I'm 285 pounds, miserable, not unhappy, just broken, depressed, with no purpose. And here I am back in New York. All right, I guess I'm going to get a regular job. Oh my goodness, it's just getting worse. I said, wait, I can't go work at Amazon. I don't want to. I'm way beyond that. So here I am, against anybody's opinion. That's been my life strategy. Thank God. I never listened to anybody. I listened. I just walked to the beat of my own drum. So here I am. Boom. I don't know what to do. This is about as miserable as you could possibly get. And boom, I get an opportunity. I get a call. Because of my track record and my resume, I get a call from an NBA coach. Britt, I got a job for you, professional player. He's been his name's Will Barton. Absolute delight of an athlete, which you can't say that about an absolutely wonderful person. He's a 13-year NBA vet. He's currently a free agent. Anyway, it calls me down to Washington, D.C. to start training him one-on-one. There it is, baby. We're back in the game. And I was happy because I'm not working for $15 an hour trying to just slave away in New York. So here it is, top of the mountain, baby. And Doc, this is where the magic is. This is why we're talking right now. Okay, so here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Going back to Hollywood. I can't do a ladder drill, let alone go to Hollywood as the top guy, getting top rate with my resume. I can't even move. All right, well, that doesn't motivate you. I don't know what will. All right, here we go. I know what to do. I'm notorious for my 30 for 30. I'm convinced that I can do anything in 30 days. I'm an extremist. It's not for everybody, but that's who I am.
But everyone can do it.
I've spent years trying to fight it, kind of put the box into the circle. It's not me. Okay, we have our strengths, we got our weaknesses. Like for years in Costa Rica, people are like, oh, Britt, you need to chill out, relax. No, I don't want to. That does nothing for me. It's not how I'm wired. And thankfully, I didn't try to conform. I said, I'm just going to keep doing what I do. So here we go, baby. Get back in shape. That's it. I bodybuilded for 10 years. I got to do it very late. But I wanted some competition after training all these athletes. I wanted to compete. And the bodybuilding's so vain. I don't even like my body. That's a whole other thing. But I like the fact that who's willing to suffer the hardest might win. I said, oh, this is fun. So not getting into bodybuilding too much, but I really enjoyed the competition, the sport of eating. I said, okay, let's go. Who's going to suffer the hardest? So what happened in this small moment, my ability, my extremism, I was able to take out guys that were genetically blessed and bigger than me because I was willing to torture myself. At the time, it was torture. I wish I knew about fasting at the time. I did not. However, I was still not plowing oatmeal like the traditional guys were doing. That being said, that gave me the drive. So here we go. I know what to do. Get on that Stairmaster. Pull the carbs. I will say this one thing. My entire career, I've always pulled carbohydrates. Nothing to do with where I'm at now. It was a satiation thing. So my entire career, this is important that I bring this up. I have food issues, okay? Like many people, and this is where it gets interesting. This is where I say the modified carnivore. I'm not necessarily delivering what is scientifically or biologically the most efficient. What I'm doing is trying to get people to lose weight and body fat and get the stress off of their heart. So that's the way I'm doing it. And I realized, yeah, you can have knowledge, all the knowledge in the world. It doesn't mean you're going to do it. People know they shouldn't drink. It doesn't smoke. It doesn't mean they just don't do it. So I could come at you with all this knowledge. Who cares? What I have is people that are changing their life in a couple of days by this little method that I came up with. And here's how I came up with it. I got on the Stairmaster for about 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, I got 28 days. Let's go. 2 minutes, I'm dying. What is going on? I've been a top tier trainer for 25 years and I can't do it. I'm like, all right, no, just pull your carbs. Getting back to the carbs, I've always felt, I tried to do the egg whites and the oatmeal, the chicken and the rice. And what happened, I eat 5 pounds of rice and it doesn't fill me up. And I knew this from very, nothing to do with science. I just knew I could eat oatmeal and egg whites and I'm starving in a half an hour. If I have bacon, eggs, and cheese, I'm what they call satiated. I'm full for hours. It's a no-brainer. It was not a science thing. It's what works for me. So I know, all right, pull your carbs and let's go. I couldn't do it. I'm binge eating. I'm talking within 12. I couldn't stick to a diet for 12 hours. What the fuck is going on? Now it's 24 days. I'm going to Hollywood. What's going on? It was nuts. And thank God. So what are we going to do now? This is not even a choice. Right now, I'm lucky to have a job opportunity. What do I do? And I don't know. I was in Washington, D.C., living in my friend's the basketball space in his basement temporarily till I went and started training with this guy. So here I go. I was like, I have nothing. What am I doing? So this is where I went down the rabbit hole. And this is really great. Doc, do you know the story of Angus Barbieri?
I do not. Why don't you share it with us? We have time. Please. We're not in a rush, and your energy and your stories are very invigorating and motivating, by the way.
I appreciate that. So without getting too technical, Angus Barbieri. So I watched this clip about 2 years ago. Didn't register at all. Angus Barbieri, this is back in like 1958 in Scotland. He was, don't quote me on this, I believe 435 pounds. This is 1958 or 59. This happened. This isn't my opinion. This isn't some story. This man is 435 pounds. He went to a hospital in Scotland. He checked in. Doctors didn't know what the hell. He just went there. He said, I don't want to continue living like this. This is documented. This is not made up. So I'm reading this story, and none of it's really checking. This is years ago, but I'm like, this is fast. This man checked himself into the hospital. The doctors didn't know what the hell to do. They said, let's put him on a fast in the hopes that it just shrinks his stomach. That was all. There was nothing else to that. They didn't know what the hell else to do. So this man, they put him on a 40-day fast, Angus Barbieri. This man did not eat food for 385 days. This man did not eat one crumb of food. He got down to 180 pounds. The man did not eat a crumb of food for over a year. They measured all of his health markers. Around the 6-month mark, they gave him some like magnesium supplements, whatever. They monitored his blood health. What happened? He got to the 40 days. He's telling the doctor, he's like, I feel great. He goes, this is easy. The guy went over a year. I have no desire to ever go more than 2 days. So I heard the story, and it was almost like fictional. It didn't really process it, but it was always in the back of my mind. I said, shit. I was like, and I just didn't know. So boom, that was it, right? So here we go. I don't know what to do. I got into a couple podcasts. Like I said, I don't know competition. I don't see competition. I don't know people in this space. I don't care. I don't. And I have enough going on my plate. I'm worried. I'm in my own lane. I'm servicing my people. I don't care about the other noise. And it doesn't make me ignorant. It's just what works for me. You know, there's enough people, there's enough out of shape, overweight people for all of us. There's millions. We can all do our own thing. So what do I do? And I got into one I do like, and again, I don't know. I listened to a couple Andrew Huberman podcasts. And I was very new to podcasts. I'd never been into this. I was just searching. And there was a couple of interesting things he was talking about. So that's what kind of started. I liked what he was talking about. It had nothing to do with him, but it got me on this little podcast run. And I'm kind of a geek. I look like a big meathead, but I am a geek. I love everything about the human body. I love how fast you can make changes from an aesthetic standpoint. This is what I make my claim on. Results as fast as possible. It's not for everybody. There's people that frown about that. I don't give a shit. This is my life. This is what I do. And what it is, I try to find a path, not for the motivated people. What is happening to the lazy people I come in touch with? How do I get them in on this? And that's very important because, again, you can talk all that, but is anybody getting results? Here's where it gets awesome. Boom. I somehow went through my Instagram clip, and there was an old clip like 2 years ago with this. And it's just so funny because this is years ago. There was this like 16, 17-year-old like Filipino kid. Not that it matters. He was with his trainer, shredded, absolutely bone shredded. And his trainer this is a couple years ago, his trainer was next to him. They're like, what does he eat? He goes, he just eats ground beef. And I'm like, oh God, this is crap. Yeah, I laughed. Sure enough, this clip pops up. I said, well, you know, at this point, I don't know what the hell else to do. Now I've got like 24 days. I don't know what the hell else to do. So here's where my magic comes in. I chose Omad initially because of my, call it eating disorder. I guess we all have some sort of brain disorder.
All of us.
I feel that people use food and abuse food, I do at least, just like a drug or anything else, but our society accepts it. And they're just little dopamine hits. And I hate using catchphrases and stuff, but I know it's for me. I'm not hungry. I'm bored. It's something in my brain. I'm missing something. Just like the cigarette smoker, the drinker. We all have a broken brain. I'm going to get into our wiring, but I believe it all stems from here. So for whatever reason, I was able to use food, and society accepts it. You drink beers every night. Everybody frowns upon it. But you can eat. I can sit there with a double chin, 40 pounds overweight. No problem. Well, what the hell? It's worse. So that's the whole thing. So here we go. All right, Britton. We're going to go Omad. Here's why Omad works. You can't eat. There's no decision making. Oh, quest bar, celery. No. You're not eating. And that's what works for me. This is how simple I am. And I'm a tough client on myself. So here we go. We got the Omad. Well, shit, now we got about 22 days. Let's just eat meat. And that's what I did. I started eating 2 pounds of ground beef. Bro, within 4 days, this is where it's insane. The energy I have, people think I'm on drugs. I have been this high energy since I started this in February. What happened now? And it's actually the physical part. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. What was happening is I haven't been on a piece of cardio since the day I started this. Not one piece of cardio. I used to do 2 hours of Stairmaster a day to get in shape. What was happening after a couple of days of just eating meat, I didn't understand. And this is why it's so powerful. People come to me for the body fat. I'm like, just wait till you see what happens here. Because what was happening is I was getting up in the morning. I felt awesome. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? Because I was just on the border of not wanting to be alive. I was there a couple of weeks ago. What the hell's going on? I'm just eating meat. This is 3 days and 4 days. I'm feeling great. And it was my mind. All of a sudden, I'm thinking, I'm doing things, I'm taking that. What the hell is going on? And to this day, I still don't believe it. And it's more than anybody, but that's this elimination diet, getting rid of all the crap. I didn't realize what this was doing to our brains. And this is where it's so special. And nobody's going to understand it until they come on board or they try it. You're not going to understand it. And even today, to this point where I'll go fast, nothing about this makes sense. So I'll be on a 23-hour fast and I'll just push it. I'll just go to the gym. Nothing makes sense, right? You can't have energy. My workouts are insane. The longer I fast, the better my workouts are. Nothing makes sense. So as a top tier trainer, everything that I've sold over the last 25 years, I didn't even know what the hell I was talking about. I was selling shit. Post-workout protein shake, all these things. Oatmeal, egg whites. And I'm not knocking it. It works for some people because there's just bad. You can go on any diet, stop eating crap for 30 days, you're going to find results. But it's that sustainability. And for me, what is going on in the mind? This is insane. To where this is within a couple of weeks. I will say this, within 22 days, I went to Miami completely shredded. I'm very proud of that. I am an extremist, and I changed my body composition, about 46 pounds in 30 days. I'm not saying that's healthy. I don't need anybody's opinion of that. All I know is that I was a lot healthier mentally, and I felt great, and I was happy. And my friend, for me, being happy is more important than anything else.
Dr. Rob Kiltz, another beautiful, spectacular day. And I just want to send thanks to all of those for watching the newest episode of Carnivore Conversations. Be sure to follow us on Spotify, Apple Music, and other streaming platforms to gain access to the full 1-hour episode. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more to come. God bless.